Hello, Mr. Christian again. Thank you for being here. Actually, thank you for accepting our interview. Today, we are going to welcome Mr. Christian, CEO of MCTC, Global Maritime Catering and Culinary Education Company on vessels. Mr. Christian, could you introduce yourself and your company, please?
Yes, of course. Thank you very much, Kemal. Nice to meet you as well. My name is Christian Ioannou. I'm the founder and CEO of MCTC. We're basically a company that is concentrating on one thing only, which is the well-being on board the vessels, and more specifically on the catering management and training on the commercial vessels. I'm the founder of MCTC. We started the company in 2012. And within the last 10 years, we have managed to expand our business into 1,000 vessels globally, where we are responsible for the entire catering management and training services, together focusing a lot on the well-being on board the vessel. The head offices are based in Limassol in Cyprus, but we have 7 offices globally, where we do a lot of business development, support of our clients, trainings in India, in the Philippines, in Turkey, Zanzibar even, for some specific clients. So our presence is global. It's a global presence.
When I searched about your company, actually, I witnessed your articles and your websites often points out the relationship between well-being and eating good food on vessels. What is the relationship between two things?
Well, it's huge. The relationship it's enormous, right? I mean, we all know ourselves how important food is, even in our families at home. We all meet on a Sunday, the families meet on a Sunday to discuss things. Whenever we want to discuss a proper business meeting, then we do this over dinner or lunch. So food connects people. And we know that the guys that our colleagues on board the vessels, they're sailing for many months, a year, sometimes even 8, 9, 10 months a year in a row. Without really having anything else to look forward apart from proper food and nutrition on board the vessel. So imagine being on board for 8 to 10 months, and then you've got 3 times a day, multiple to 15 minutes where you will be having your meals, and the food is not served as it should have been served. So obviously the morale and the well-being is very related to proper food on board the vessels. I always make a joke that in the old times, in many countries, bad food was the reason of divorce in some houses. You know, it was in that extreme scenarios. If food is very important for the morale of people. We've got so many nationalities on board. We've got so many different crew, a diversity of crew on board from so many different countries, cultures, religion differences as well. We always need to make sure that we have something that it reminds them from home. This is why we're concentrating on that well-being factor as far as food is concerned.
Yes, the other thing is diversity, actually. As we really know, there are many different nationalities working on board. And so it means there should be many different menus on board. How do you prepare your menus, and how do your candidates or your students prepare themselves to work on board when we look at the different nationalities and different cultures and religions?
Yes. Of course, we've got vessels with even extreme numbers of different nationalities on board, sometimes even 12 different nationalities on board one vessel. So you can imagine the job of a cook is extremely difficult to make sure that everybody is fulfilled, that they are feeling at home, and so on and so forth. So this is where we support them a lot. But we also know that there's a big challenge in the market as far as recruiting is concerned, because our clients, ship owners, ship operators, they cannot find proper crew on board the vessels. So they are kind of forced to man a vessel with various different nationalities. If they would have the choice, they would have maybe 2 different nationalities on board, you know, like maybe Filipinos as ratings or Eastern Europeans officers, giving us an example. But they don't have that luxury because there is lack of seamen in our industry. So they're forced to have so many different nationalities on board the vessel. So what does it mean that the cook is there, let's say from the Philippines or from India or anywhere else in the world, and he has to make sure that all of those 12 nationalities are happy. How do we do that? We are supporting them through the distance. We have very concentrated, very detailed distance coaching programs, which are concentrating in supporting the cooks while they're on board the vessels through the distance. Our chefs from various nationalities are in communication with the cooks on board, and then we guide them on a weekly basis, what they should be cooking, how they can satisfy all those needs. We develop the menus to be in accordance to those nationalities. Of course, it will not be 12 different menus on board, but we will break them into the various regional categories, right? If you've got 5 different European nationalities, we consider this as a one nationality, and we try and mix and match dishes that it will fulfill all those nationalities of the European nations. The same we could do also with Asians, the same we do with any other nationality. So when we develop the menus, we make sure that the ingredients, the basis of the ingredients are the same, but the ending of the product, the ending of the ingredient of the recipe is a bit different in order to make sure that it's more closer to the national, what they basically got used to, right? Their food at home. So this is how we do that. And whenever we do the trainings in our training center in the Philippines or in India or in Istanbul, we don't just do a generic training of various recipes. All of our candidates, all of our students that are coming into our training center, they are producing and they're cooking the dishes for the menu that we have developed for the vessel that they will be joining after the training. So it's very vessel specific trainings. So we support them then when they go on board through the distance, making sure that they will be able to fulfill those needs on board and so on and so forth. In addition to that, we board the vessels, we sail with the vessels, our chefs visit them as well, make sure that they've got all the support they need throughout the contracts to fulfill that need that you have mentioned before with all those different nationalities.
Speaking of your training program, how is it like? Could you describe what is your curriculum and
Yes.
which students do you prefer studying with your
Yes.
company?
I mean, with the curriculum, we've got the 2 main categories, which is the theoretical parts of the training, and we've got the practical element as well. The theoretical is covering areas like food safety, hygiene, nutrition, menu management. We're covering a lot of areas of galley management, organization in the galley, time management. And then we've got the practical part, that's what I have mentioned before. But maybe something we could also concentrating on is that, yes, we are training the cooks, we're making sure they've got the support and everything, but what happens if the ingredients that they will need to produce those dishes on board are not available? So everything that we do, the trainings, the well-being, the time management, standardization to make sure that the galley department is operating as a proper department is surrounding our main focus, which is supplying the ingredients worldwide, globally, to the vessels. So we have more than 300-400 suppliers that are approved globally, and we make sure that we deliver the proper provisions on board, the ingredients that they need in the best quality, in the best possible price, for them to be able to produce all of those things that they have been taught during the trainings.
How long does your course take?
We have various courses. We have the distance coaching courses which is while they are on board the vessel, which goes for 2.5 months. But then it continues, the support continues while they're on board the vessel, when they will finish with the course. We have development programs in our training center, which goes for 3 months, 66 working days, and we have also upgrading courses that for a week. Depends on the need of the client and who will be undergoing the course.
How about candidates, your student? What kind of students do you prefer?
The entire catering brigade on board. I mean, we've got the chief cooks and the messmen, or some cases the stewards or the catering boys. They all undergo our trainings. We've got the cooks with upgrading their knowledge. We've got the future cooks who are graduates from hotel and restaurant management schools that we are working well with in various countries where we develop them further. We've got the stewards and the messmen that they need to improve themselves in housekeeping and hygiene, and also to be able to assist the cooks. And they're the future cooks as well. So before they will be even promoted to cooks, they will be undergoing the upgrading courses.
As we know, actually, as we really know, eating good food is a big issue on every vessel,
Yes.
and so actually, but it's not enough to serve. It should be cheaper. It should be healthier, and actually, three factors come up actually in front of us: being healthy and being cheap and tasting good. How do you provide this balance between three factors uh, when you care ship owners' preferences?
Yes. Well, we're supplying at the moment more than 1,000 vessels globally. So you can understand that we've got a negotiating power through our suppliers, that we get the best possible quality at the best possible price. At the same time, we've got the tools and the expertise to help them to monitor their costs on board. And this one of the areas is done through the menu development, so we can make sure that we develop the menus based on the budgets on board. But we can also do this through our softwares and our expertise as catering experts. So this is how we make sure that the costs are being kept to the minimum, but it should be not be the minimum, it should be the correct cost, because we don't also always agree on a reduced cost. It has to be the correct cost for the trade of the vessel. Obviously, the quality of the provisions, this we manage that through our quality department, where we auditing our approved suppliers. We share all those audit reports with our clients. We're making sure that everything is transparent. Whenever we go into an audit, then the clients of ours, they receive the full report with documentation on the ISO certification or any salmonella tests that they maybe have been done. All of the protocols for them to be approved suppliers by us. We share that as well with the captains, the crew, and our clients as well. And the taste, if I recall correctly, the third part you mentioned is the taste. This comes again with the expertise and the competency of the cook on board, where we support them to improve throughout the contracts.
I would like to talk about your company's experience more. And so, in your observation, what are the biggest challenges in ship galleys? And so, how does your company fix those
Yes.
challenges in your
Well,
experience?
the biggest challenge, there are a lot of challenges. One of the challenges is what I've mentioned before, is them being on board for 8 to 10 months. And then obviously after a couple of months, you're demotivated by doing your job on a daily basis 7 times a week, right? So our focus is to motivate them. This is one thing that we managed to change a lot on board. So we do a lot of initiatives in motivating them on board through well-being programs. We've got our nutritionists that are in communication with them. We've got our chefs that are in communication on the expertise on the recipe sharing. We're doing cooking competitions. We're making sure that we do all these initiatives to motivate them and give them some presents. So the best in the fleet, they get a present from MCTC, the best cook within the fleet. Then we visit the vessels. We motivate them while they're on board the vessels. We invite them into our crew conferences. We have, in a couple of weeks, we have our next health and nutrition weekend retreat, where we invite the cooks, the wives, and the kids for the whole weekend into a retreat in the Philippines, and our experts are discussing various issues about food. So motivating them is one thing. So this is one challenge. So they're demotivated, right? We also have our own Cooks Day on the 30th of each May. Every year we announce it as a Cooks Day. So we celebrate the importance of the cooks on board. So we ask the crew to go to the galley and acknowledge the cooks and help them and thank them for their duties and the work and the hard work and dedication throughout the contracts. So this is one thing, motivation, which is, for me, an MCTC is the most important thing. The second thing is that you've got, in the commercial vessels, you've got most of the times cooks that are not really as educated cooks as maybe in the cruise industry or in the hotel and restaurant industry. And the reason is because a lot of the graduates from culinary schools, a lot of graduates from hotel schools, reputable hotel schools, they may not want to go to the commercial vessel business. So they will end up in the cruise ships or in the hotels and restaurants. So what do? We make sure that we train them and we support them throughout the contracts, but we also organize them within the department. they don't know how to organize a department. So we give them the processes, the manuals, the checklist, everything that they need to follow on a daily basis to make sure that we transform that one-man show into a proper department, right? So this is the second. So the first one we said is well-being. The second one is organization and the expertise. And the third one is obviously to make sure that they are utilizing and they're using the ingredients that we supply on board the vessel in a proper manner. And how do they do that? Through our inventory control, catering management as a whole, and support throughout the contract, right? So by focusing on those areas as MCTC is how we actually make the difference. It may make sense to mention also how MCTC has started. It was myself actually traveling with the vessels from port to port as a cook. I'm a chef myself. That's my background. So our CEO is a chef. A lot of our guys in the office, also managerial positions, are chefs themselves. So we really understand the challenge. It's not just a business model that we said, okay, we can make some money out of it. It's really what we love. And this is the expertise of myself and our colleagues in the office. And this is how we can concentrate and assist them to improve the lifestyles on board the vessels. Yes, and while visiting the vessels and while sailing with the vessels, we have identified that there is the need of communicating with the cooks on board. This is how we started as MCTC.
Actually, to be honest, your company has really close relationship with seafarers because they are your testers, and as we know, they are always gourmets to pick up actually food on board. And so I would like to say this relationship provides your company a unique position, and so that's why I want to learn what are feedbacks received from onboard seafarers.
Yeah, we have very good feedback, obviously, and I would say one of the things that we're very proud of is the very positive feedback that we get on how our colleagues are communicating with the guys on board. We emphasize a lot within MCTC the importance to understand and to be empathetic to the life on board a vessel and how difficult it is. So we even make sure that our purchasing officers and the chefs also visit our clients to hear from the first view what are the challenges and the feedback. So overall, the feedback is very positive. Communicating with them on board, like you said, is where we are very strong at, and we are receiving very good feedback. But I think another really advantage of MCTC is that we, like I've mentioned before, it's not just a business model. It's not just a corporation. This is what we do. This is our passion. This is our vision to change the lifestyles on board the vessel. So overall feedback are good. Of course, to manage to reach the milestones that we would like them to reach, improving on board the meals, improving the competency, everything comes with also time investment from the cooks. So of course, all the cooks, sometimes they may be a little bit more complaining on why do we need to do a training, on why do I need to do this and this and that. But with all of the younger cooks, we get very nice feedback. Of course, we always accommodate the needs of also the ones who are considering themselves to be very busy, and we support them. Yeah, these are the feedback that we get overall.
Actually, your advantage is, I think you can receive your feedbacks instantly, because when somebody eats your food, you can look at his face and you can receive your feedback instantly.
Yes. And we ask them,
advantage, I think.
And part of our ISO, we also have really nice processes where we ask them for each supply and for each training, and for each meal that is being prepared to be evaluated by the crew. So we're getting hundreds and hundreds of feedback on a weekly basis, which we are working on and reading. We've got our quality department where they're focusing once a month to go through all of the feedback that we receive from the crew to make sure that everything that we do are correct and as per their expectation.
I think it makes your company really proactive, because you can analyze your feedback quickly. Thank you very much, Mr. Christian, for your all answers. So actually, food is a good topic and to talk about always. Actually, among very boring topics in shipping sector, actually, Food is
Yes.
a very good topic to talk about.
That
Meanwhile, I really know seafarers maybe really care food on board, and so maybe after the salary, they always want to learn what
yes.
they will eat on board.
Yes, that's very correct. And we've got crew who are asking the crew managers to go back on the same vessel to sail with a particular cook because they know that they will be fed properly. And I can even tell you that they will forget about the salary differences between one company and another, but they will never forget a good or bad experience in food. So
Yes.
it's if not more important, it's equally important as the salaries on board.
Yes. Thank you again. We can, I think, end up conversation here.
Thank you, Kemal. Appreciate it.